And so what we're going to do now is we're going to lock and hide nodes and their attributes so that we can organize what needs to be animated and keyframed and what doesn't. It sounds like a tedious process, but this is a very important step. So what I'd like to do is go through what the book asks you to do, but also show you guys how it's done so that no one's confused here. And just keep in mind that every rig that character setup artist sets up is different. So this is just one way of doing this, and it's pretty simplified. If you look at a more advanced rig, you'll see that it becomes a lot more detailed and a lot more work than this. Okay, so I'm going to get started on page 387. And the first thing I'm going to do is take a look at the geometry. So I'm going to take a look at the polygon and the NURB surfaces. And I'm going to select all of them here. And you can also select them using the hypergraph. Okay, I'm going to select all the eyelids, eyeballs, the body, and the collar. And I'm going to lock and hide all of their attributes. They're already locked, but I'm just going to hide all of their attributes so that only visibility is left. And the reason why I do that is because I don't ever need to do anything except see them or not see them. And they're going to be always controlled by joints, IKs, and control objects from this point forward. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hide and lock down the end joints of my character. And this is just a regular practice here. I'm going to hide all the joints of the end joints except the eye joints. So I like to use the hypergraph to select these joints. It's going to be the nose, the jaw end. I'm going to leave the eyes because they have constraints on them and I need them to animate the eye aim. The ear ends, index, middle, pinky 3, thumb 4. Okay, so all the end joints of the fingers on both arms. And I'm going to also do toes end, and toes end, and tail 3. Alright, so with the end joint selected, what I'm going to do is turn off my visibility. I'm going to hide them before I lock and hide selected all of the attributes of the end joints. If I ever need it again, I can always bring it back. Okay, that way you can see that, for example, the nose and the jaw joint no longer exist. Okay, it's pointing at nothing. And the next thing I'm going to do is lock and hide the other attributes of the joints that I don't need. So as I've been saying, joints are used for rotation, but not translation or scaling at this point. So the only joints I'm really going to ever translate are going to be the pelvis, left heel control, the right heel control, right, because those can be translated. I'm going to select all the joints by going to edit, select all by type joints, right, and then I'm going to deselect the pelvis, the end joints I don't have to worry about because they're already hidden. Okay, the left heel control and the right heel control. Okay, so right now I cannot see the attributes, and it's because it was showing to the tail 3, which was hidden already. So I'm going to just deselect that so I can see the attributes I need. Now this ... is specifying that I have multiple things selected, and what I can do is with these guys lock down the translate So what I'm going to do with all these joints, except the pelvis and left heel control and right heel control joints of the reverse foot, is to command select. Don't press shift because then you will have to select the rotate values as well. And command select translate scale visibility values as well as the radius. Okay, and right click, hold down, and lock and hide selected. Now almost all of your joints will only have the rotate attributes showing. Okay, the only thing that won't have those limitations are the pelvis and the left heel control and the right heel control. So the next thing I'm going to do is for the pelvis, left heel control, right heel control, I can just get rid of the scale and visibility and radius. Lock and hide selected. Okay, it's going to translate and rotate when I need it to. Okay, so if you go to page 390, there's a whole bunch of tips that they tell you to look at. So I'm going to go through one at a time to make sure that we are on the same page as Romeo in the book. It says that the pole vector and lookout locator should only translate. So let's take a look at this. Show all the pole vector, arms, and the lookout should only translate. And that makes sense. You know, you don't really rotate any of these guys. So I'm going to take the rotate, scale, visibility, and I'm going to leave the blink because I'm going to need that. Okay, and then I'm going to go and lock and hide selected. Right? So now you can see that this locator can move and can blink, but that's all it's going to do. And the same with the pole vector locators. Next, the reverse foot joint should be hidden and locked as they are not intended for manual animation. So that's pretty easy to do. I'm actually going to leave the left heel control open and grab the 3 other joints. So toe control, ball control, ankle control. Okay, all these guys are going to be locked and hidden. Okay, and I don't need that in order for my foot to animate and the roll to happen because the set-driven key has already set it up. So I'm going down the list here and I'm going through the guidelines for this particular rig on page 390. It says that the pole vector and lookout locator should only translate. The reverse foot joint should be hidden and locked as they are not intended for manual animation. Okay, so we did that with the lookout and the pole vectors. They're only translating, although the lookout also has the blink attribute. The reverse foot joints should be hidden and locked. Okay, so you can take a look at it through the outliner here. And make sure your lookout is parented to the master node. Okay, so the left foot manipulator has the left heel control underneath it. Okay, and all the toe, ball, and ankle control actually has no attributes showing. So I actually have the left heel control attribute showing just in case. Okay, so to translate, rotate nodes are there. Any constraint attributes should be locked. I actually like to have my constraint attributes showing, and so I'm just going to ignore that. All the scaling attributes should be locked unless you want to do cartoon-like animation. So what that means is that I actually think that the master node scale should be available, but everything else, if you'd like to go one by one to make sure that the scale of the attributes are not available, you can do that. Now lots of you guys may just go through one by one these attributes to see. Okay. Any attributes controlled by constraint or an IK handle should be hidden. Now that's um, pretty much dealing with the IKs, and we've already hidden those. So you can double check with that if you'd like. Okay, effectors should be completely locked. Well, my effectors are actually not locked at all, so I can just select the effectors in here. So effectors are actually parts of your IK system, so there should be one at the bottom of your leg and arms. Just select all of them, just lock and hide selected. Alright, master scale. It says here you should be able to set these scales to non-keyable. Okay, I'd like to actually set my entire master node section to non-keyable. Okay, make selected non-keyable. What that will allow me to do is it'll allow me to still move him around, okay, and scale it, but you wouldn't be keyframing the master node. That's really important to keep in mind, that you're going to be moving the character using your pelvis and your other control objects, like that. Okay, you'll never be using the master node to animate the motion. Okay, you'll just be using it to place him. If you have any doubts about the locking and hiding attributes part, I would take a look at the model that's on the DVD called 13rig_04.